What do I do when I'm alone? Oh, I live my best life. I travel, I do stuff by myself sometimes.
Ever since I was little, I have always been curious and adventurous. From opening cabinets in the kitchen, wondering what was inside without permission, and doing a whole lot of things that I probably had no business doing, but I always wanted to see and do things for myself. My parents would always say I was a kid who just did her own thing. Funny how this translated into my adult years. I know for a fact that I'm still that curious and adventurous little girl, now living out some of my biggest dreams. Solo traveling has encouraged me to blossom in ways that I will forever cherish. I've gained more independence and a continuous curiosity about the world outside of my own.
Hello, I'm so happy you're here. I'm really excited to share with you some tips that I came up with to hopefully provide you with some concrete things that you can implement as you prepare for your own journey. A lot of these tips are going to be geared towards international solo travel, going outside of the country. So keep that in mind as we're going through these tips. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So I want to first just touch on the benefits of solo travel. There are so many, but these are the ones that first came to mind when I was thinking about tips that I could share. One of the benefits of solo traveling is personal growth. You'll develop independence, self-reliance, facing fears, stepping out of your comfort zone, which will cultivate amazing breakthroughs and building confidence as you navigate new environments and experiences on your own. I feel like solo traveling is very empowering. I remember when I went to Japan for the first time, I was staying in Tokyo, and it's a huge train transit city. And even country, and I was so overwhelmed and even moments of frustration, but I still pushed through because I knew that I really wanted to utilize the trains as I went from place to place in Japan. And I was so proud of myself when I got comfortable and used to using the train system out there. So it's just things like that that can really boost your confidence and your ability to really navigate an uncomfortable and unfamiliar situations. Another benefit of solo traveling is the flexibility of it. Like, you don't have to tweak or accommodate your plans for other people. You can do what you want when you want to. You can make adjustments as you please, and you don't have to feel like you have to compromise. You don't have much remorse. Like, if you cancel an activity or you change your mind and you want to do something different, you don't have to feel bad about it because it's just you. So I love the flexibility that comes with traveling solo. You are the head honcho. You are running things and you're answering to no one but yourself. Self-reflection is another big pro of solo traveling because you're able to discover more about your inner self, an opportunity to unplug from your day-to-day routines, listen to your thoughts, process a lot of feelings, and get realigned. And I think it's also a great opportunity to discover new things about yourself, or even tap into things that you forgot about or maybe suppressed as you got older, and having an opportunity to talk to your younger self. Peace and solitude. That is a major one for me. Learning to enjoy your own company, I think, is really important as you progress through life in general. And I think solo travel presents a perfect opportunity for you to spend time with yourself. And you'll have the ability to savor simple pleasures and move at a slower pace and appreciating the present moment, living in the moment and not rushing through things. Because I think we live in a culture, at least in the United States, where we're busy a lot and going and constantly doing, and it's good to just sometimes do nothing if you decide to, or if you pick a few activities and do it at your own pace, just having more control over what you do with your time. I think that it increases your self-awareness, and your overall introspection of yourself will increase. Next tip is researching and picking your destination. Like, this is really important, right? So I think it's important to know what the cultural norms are in the country that you are potentially traveling to. We all have our personal beliefs, and we may agree or disagree about certain things that are implemented in a society in a country outside of our own, but I think it's really important to nonetheless be respectful and mindful of those customs regardless of your personal opinion about them. That will increase your safety when you're there. We'll definitely get into more safety tips later in the video. I really think it's really important to know these things about the destination that you're going to, because it'll ultimately help you understand the environment that you're in, as well as helping you navigate around the country a lot better as well. Another good thing to know is, what are the local languages of the places that you're potentially going to? Are you comfortable with not knowing any of the languages that are spoken? Like, if you're not fluent in the host language or you're not conversational in that language, don't let that stop you from going. If you're able to learn a couple phrases like greetings, how to say you need help, or really basic things like that, I think it's really great to know. I have found that knowing just a little bit of a language is a bridge to forming connections. I think that a lot of the locals appreciate and respect that when foreigners come into their country and has made an effort to say some of the things in their native languages. I think it really shows endearment and respect.
If you are talking, either talking or greeting an elderly person, you use a polite manner, like polite way to greet or to talk.
Ekaro.
Báwo ni?
Dadani Eyinko.
Dadani.
Okay.
You learn.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
Another thing that I think is important is researching activities, or what are the type of experiences that you want to have when you're traveling. Do you want to go somewhere that has a lot of beaches? Do you want to see a lot of greenery? Do you want to be somewhere that has a lot of temples? Do you want to be somewhere that has a lot of outdoor / walking activities? Those things are really important, because if you're looking up a country that doesn't have a lot of the aspects of general activities that you're interested in, then you might want to consider going somewhere else. May not give you the experience that you're hoping to have. What time of the year are you wanting to travel? Some places are best visited during a particular part of the year. And one thing that I think is important to mention is that you may be able to find deals in some of these countries depending upon what time of the year you book your travels. If you're trying to save a little bit of money, it's good to consider traveling somewhere during non-peak travel seasons at that destination of interest. However, on the flip side of that, if you're traveling somewhere during non-peak seasons, it can mean smaller crowds and less tourists in that area. So if you're hoping to travel somewhere that has more traffic of tourists to maybe make you feel more comfortable safety-wise, then I would maybe not suggest this. So it just kind of depends on what you're willing to compromise on. But if you're willing to travel during a time where it's a high tourist season, then you might see a spike in expenses or the cost of traveling to that country, because so many people are going around that same time of the year. With that being said, it's really important to factor in your budget, y'all. There's nothing wrong with being a budget traveler, and there's nothing wrong with being someone who likes to be a little bit more on the luxury side. Like, I personally like to do a mixture of both when I can, okay? There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're someone who's looking to be a little bit more budget friendly when you're traveling, this is something that you're gonna have to take in consideration, especially when you are trying to arrange your accommodations. Cheaper options may not always be the best option depending on the setup of the lodging. So I highly recommend those who are less experienced with solo traveling to maybe have a little bit of room to expand your budget if possible when it comes to accommodations, and even somewhere that has 24-hour concierge. So somewhere that's a little bit less expensive may not have those same amenities, which may cause you to be a little bit more uncomfortable during your stay. If you're staying somewhere farther out to get a cheaper rate, or somewhere that doesn't have 24-hour concierge and you're coming in at different hours of the day, might create some uneasiness. So just things to think about when you are budgeting for your trip. Next is how to build your confidence with traveling solo. I get asked all the time, like, girl, how do you travel by yourself? How do you do that? How do you build up the confidence? Like, I could never do that. Yes, you can. You can do it. And something that I recommend is starting small, doing a day trip in your city somewhere, doing a weekend trip, maybe in a different city in the state that you live in before you venture out and going outside of the country. Like, you can still solo travel on a smaller scale. With that, I definitely recommend recommend implementing some of these tips that we're going over right now when you do these day trips, so you can just get the feel of implementing these strategies and tips when you do go outside of the country. So it's like a mini assignment that you can do. And if you're not ready to go somewhere overnight by yourself, or even spending the day in another city that's near you, you can even go smaller, y'all. Yes, you can do a solo date for yourself. You can go to dinner alone. You can go to the museum. It's actually very common for a lot of people who have never experienced going out to dinner by themselves or going to the movies by themselves. So this is something that you can do to just build up that confidence. So you can create a mini itinerary for yourself. Like, I'm gonna get up at this time and I'm gonna go to breakfast by myself, and then I'm gonna go to the movies, and then I'm gonna go to the museum. Practice the fundamentals of planning. Looking up the navigation route, looking up the directions to where you're going. Let's say, for example, you wanna do a solo dinner date. Find this restaurant that you're interested in, but you don't know the dress code. Look up the restaurant, pull up the dress code, figure out how you need to present yourself in this establishment. This will be a great exercise for when you're researching a country and you want to know what the cultural norms are, how you should dress when you go there. This is a great way to practice that. Going on TripAdvisor and looking up tours in your city, going on tours within your city. Even though you might be familiar, you might discover something new as you're on that tour with a guide. It may seem a little bit silly, but trust me, it works. It works, it works, it works. Prepping for your solo trip is so important. The first tip I have in regards to this is packing as light as possible. The reason being is because you're traveling solo. So you don't need to be going anywhere with 3 check bags, a carry-on, a backpack, and a purse. Like, we got to think about how all those things is going to get from point A to point B. So travel as light as possible because you're gonna be the one responsible for all your belongings. The lighter you pack, the easier it'll be to navigate through the airport, boarding the plane, deplaning, and everything in between. For me, I try to, majority of the time, have one carry-on and a personal item, but this hasn't been every single time I traveled. My most recent trip, I went to Thailand. I had a check bag, a carry-on, and one personal item. And this was because I did my research prior to going there, where I realized that there are various places within the country that had luggage lockers. So I was able to leave my check bag in the locker as I traveled to and from other cities within the country. And then prior to arriving in Thailand, I was in Japan. They have a very popular bag delivery service. So for example, you land at the airport and you want to have your bags delivered to your hotel. Sometimes your hotel can deliver your bag to your next hotel that you're staying at in another city, and a lot of times it can be complimentary or for a very low fee. But one thing to keep in mind is it can take a day or two for the bags to get there. And then you also have to keep in mind potential delays as well, because you never know, things sometimes don't get delivered on time. So that's why it's good to have like a day bag or a small personal backpack or tote that you can put a day or two's worth of clothing inside, just in case. But sometimes it's best to just avoid all that and bring a carry-on and a personal item. Plan activities ahead of time, or at least have an idea of certain things that you may want to check out when you actually get in the country. But I also think it's important to have some flexibility within your schedule, because you may discover new things when you get there that you want to do, or you might get some recommendations for locals. And if you have a fully jam-packed schedule of activities that you may have even paid for, you'll probably be less willing to cancel those plans and make adjustments if you've already invested a lot of time and money into setting those activities up for yourself. So don't fully book yourself, but it's good to have some things already set in stone for your trip when you get there. Make sure you have a portable charger for your phone or any other devices that you are going to want to make sure you have ample battery life for, especially if you're going to be out and about away from your hotel for hours on end. You want to make sure that you have the ability to charge your devices. Another thing with charging is to look up the country that you're going to, their charging outlets, because I've been to some countries where they don't have the same wall plugs as they do in the United States. You may have to buy an adapter to make sure that you're able to charge your phone when you actually get there. While we're talking about phones and chargers and all that, another tip is to look into getting an eSIM or portable Wi-Fi. This will save you so much money because a lot of these networks charge so much for the international data plan. Like I have AT&T, and this is something I wasn't even aware of when I first started solo traveling, was the fact that you're able to get an eSIM and it connects your device to the local network in that country that you're in, and you're able to save a good amount of money using your cell phone. With the eSIM though, please keep in mind that most eSIMs, if not all of them, if I'm not mistaken, require your phone to be unlocked. So if your device is not unlocked, you can look into the option of a portable Wi-Fi that you can usually a lot of times put in your pocket if it's small enough, or your purse, or any other bag that you're walking around with. Look up modes of transportation. Some places do not have Uber or Lyft, but they may have some similar modes of transportation apps such as Bolt or Grab. Read travel forums or specific travel groups to the country that you're hoping to go to get an idea of average cost of taxi rides to common destinations, to minimize the possibility of getting overcharged, although I can't guarantee that this is 100% avoidable, because I feel like I probably got overcharged for quite a few things when I was traveling, even when I did some research. So just a tip, I feel like it still can be helpful in certain situations. Bring printed copies of your passport or IDs, just in case you misplace your original and you need to pull information from those items. You'll have a printed copy on hand that you can utilize. Now, this is a bonus tip. So while we're talking about duplicates, this is for my folks who wear contacts or glasses. Please, 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 please have a extra pair with you on your trip. The reason why I'm saying this is because literally on my last trip, I lost a pair of my prescription glasses. And y'all, I would have been SOL if I didn't have an extra pair with me, because when I say I have very, very bad eyesight without my glasses, to the point where I feel like it really would have impacted just my ability to be comfortable and really enjoy myself, because I wouldn't be able to see things in HD like I need to see them. Which brings me into today's sponsor, Vooglam. The glasses that I have on right now came from Vooglam. They have been my new favorites. I've been getting so many compliments on these glasses, and the best part about these, not only are they fashionable, but they have my prescription in them. I've been wearing these like almost every day for the past week. I love them so much. They did such an amazing job with the quality of the prescription. It's very clear. Glasses don't irritate my eyes. I've been wearing them for like about a week now, so I have definitely tested them out. They seem very accurate. From my experience in the past with other companies, it can take so long for glasses to be made, mailed to you, or for you to be able to pick them up in store. But this process is literally so fast and efficient. So if you're needing prescription glasses before your trip, this company is perfect for you. What I love about their frames is that they're so affordable, regardless if they're with or without prescription, which I think is a great incentive to get multiple pairs so you can bring them along your trip with you, so you can have a backup, as well as different frames that you can interchange. Like, be for real, y'all see how cute these are? So cute. Look at the details. I love this style because I have two different statement aspects of these. So we have the print with the brown, and then the bottom half has this nice green shade, and I think that they complement each other both so well. I was really in need of a frame that is like a statement piece, and these do it for me. Honestly, my favorite pair of glasses right now, and I have so many, and I have not put on any of my older frames since I got these. I want to show you guys some other options, and if you're a contact person, don't worry. Or if you're someone who doesn't wear contacts or prescription glasses at all, but you're just someone who likes wearing frames, Vooglam got you covered too. Each pair of frames will come in this cute duster. Glasses will fit perfectly inside of these, so you can easily take it with you. Really easy to just slip inside of your purse when you're on the go. These are the next pair. Oh, I love the print on these. So cute. cute. These are giving like fashionista. I can see myself going to like a museum with these on, or an art show in Milan, Italy with these. Although these don't have prescription in them, the lenses are very clear. I think these will complement someone who does have contact lenses and want to put the frames on top. They're a statement in itself. Like, I'm a huge glasses girly. These are so cute. Okay, these are the next pair. These, okay, these are really cute too. This is giving summer. I can see myself somewhere tropical wearing these, somewhere at a beach, or me sitting on a patio outside during warm weather in front of a cafe. Like, this is what these are giving. The quality of these are really good. They definitely seem durable. I like these. Fourth pair. Ooh, hey. It's something about these shapes that I feel like compliment me so well. Like, I'm really, really happy with these. I always do this when I get glasses to make sure that they're not flopping from left to right and up and down. They fit really good. These are giving, I'm sitting somewhere and I'm journaling, or I'm reading a book at the library. Like, these are what that's giving. They did their thing with their design on these. Also have their own eyeglass cloth. It's really important to keep your glasses nice and clean, and these feel so good. Like, the quality is there. Okay, Vooglam, I see y'all. No pun intended. So if you also want to ignite your inner glam, don't worry, I got you. I have a special code just for you that you can utilize so you can get your glasses for your trip and be ready to go, so you can be styling, profiling, and seeing a little bit more clearly if you need the prescription. Thank you so much to today's sponsor, Vooglam. I thank you for helping me ignite my inner glam. Next is safety. Safety. I definitely recommend sharing your travel details with someone you trust, or a couple people that you trust. That way people are aware of where you are. Have a copy of your important details written down on paper somewhere that you can locate. It's good to have it on your phone, but you need to have it on paper too, because what if you lose your phone, or your phone dies and you can't remember the address to your hotel? What if you need to contact someone and your phone is dead? I think, you know, we love relying on our phones because they're convenient, but sometimes it's really good to do things the old-fashioned way and write it down on paper, because you never know when you won't have access to something. Have cash on hand for emergencies. Piggybacking off of the phones thing, if a lot of us are using our virtual cards on our phones to pay for something, but if our phone's dead, or our debit card is not working, or credit card is not working for whatever reason, maybe because of security reasons, because you're out of the country and your bank blocks your card and you need to buy something really quick, have cash on hand. Having cash maybe on your person, but also maybe stashed away, hidden somewhere in your room. Just having it spread out in different locations, I think, can be helpful, because it's never good to walk around with a whole bunch of cash on you at once. Another tip is to know where your nearest consulate or embassy is, because you never know when you may need them. I think some of these things when I first started traveling I wasn't thinking about, but as I progressed through this journey of solo travel, I acquired new tips and even got this suggestion from someone on an old YouTube video, and I always do this now. I try to look up the nearest consulate or embassy near me, know where the nearest police station or hospital is, again, because you never know when you may need to access either of those for your safety or for your health. Listen to your intuition. Y'all, listen to your intuition, please. If something does not feel right, 10 times out of 10, it's probably not right. To be honest, if you're feeling uncomfortable, it's not even worth risking your safety to stay somewhere or be in a situation you're not comfortable in, or you're feeling uneasy about. Why stay? It's better to leave and remove yourself than to take your chances and wait it out to see if it gets better, when the whole time you're sitting there and you're worrying and you're really anxious and nervous because you're thinking about all these possibilities in your head and you're not having fun. When you're traveling solo, you are your sole protector, along with Jesus Christ, first and foremost. For those who are my believers, I know God is my protector. Okay, so I'm second in command. So I am my bodyguard. No one in the physical form is looking out for you except for you. So you have to do all that's within your power and capacity to protect yourself. I know, especially for women, we're in a society now where we have to be mindful and even careful of how we disengage, because sometimes that can put us in more danger if we're abrupt or very stern with people, but it can increase things becoming a little bit more risky. So if you have to disengage with interacting with someone who's making you uncomfortable and you're not in a high risk situation, if you're comfortable with it being polite, if they're being polite, and just remove yourself, adjust your approach if you're able to, depending on the situation. Now, if you're in a high risk situation, by all means disengage. We gonna forget all the politeness. You just gotta abort mission as soon as possible. Care if you're being rude or abrupt. Your safety is first. Their feelings is not even on the list. All in all, don't chance it. Do what makes sense in that moment, but the priority is your safety. Be wary of how much information you share with others in regards to you traveling alone. Some people, even if they are appearing to be nice, they may be plotting against you. This is not to say don't be friendly. Just use your common sense and be protective in certain environments when you're telling people that you're by yourself. Have confidence. Fake it until you make it. If you don't know something and you're in an area where you don't feel like you can ask for help, or you're hesitant to ask for help, and you're in the middle of trying to figure it out using your phone or just taking some time to gather whatever you're doing, look like you know what you're doing. Because sometimes people will take confusion as a way of attacking your vulnerability and targeting you. I think it's important to research things before you leave your hotel or before you go from one destination to the next. Look at the maps, look at, relatively what direction you should be going. There are so many apps now where you can download the maps onto your phone. So if you're having any issues with your Wi-Fi or just a local network, you have the ability to pull up the directions. Another thing I recommend is starting your day early if possible. I know everyone is not a morning person, but while you're solo traveling, it's really good to consider getting up early in the morning and getting your day started, because the more daylight out there is, the better. And the reason is because you're more likely to be more comfortable navigating around when there's daylight out versus at nighttime. And another reason is because there's usually more people out during the daytime too. Another thing in regards to safety is limit your alcohol consumption. Do I really need to elaborate on that one? Y'all, please be mindful with that. The biggest thing is use your common sense and don't gamble with your life, okay? And also know that things can happen anywhere, regardless of how safe you hear a place is or how safe you feel. Never get too comfortable. Anything can happen anywhere. Some places are more safe than others for sure, but also have that idea in your mind that things can happen to you. I think when we get really comfortable and think that, everything's sunshine and rainbows and nothing can happen to us, is when we start letting our guard down. Not saying you have to be on high alert 24/7, but be careful. So next set of tips are about what to do when you're feeling alone or lonely. First thing I want to say about this is that it can be very normal to feel lonely during your solo travels. In those moments, I strongly recommend implementing things that can make you feel grounded or make you feel at home or connected to a special person or thing. You can even bring something from home or have something that reminds you of home, like a t-shirt from your partner or a sample size of their favorite perfume. Finding somewhere that has one of your favorite foods that reminds you of home, although it may not taste like how your mom or grandma makes it. You can envision it in your mind and in your taste buds that it tastes like how they would make it. Another thing that you can do is carve out some time to connect with your family, friends, whether it's talking on the phone, whether it's FaceTime, video, chat of some nature, texting, or just connecting with your loved ones at home can definitely help. You don't have to completely unplug when you're on your solo trips unless you intentionally choose to do that. Journal. Reflect on how you're feeling in those moments of loneliness. It's important to dive deeper into those feelings to really get a better understanding of where that's deriving from and unpack it. I think it's good to just face those feelings head on. Once you own it, you can get more comfortable with the unsettling aspects of it. And with journaling, I think it's a great opportunity to just reflect on your travels, as well as just having the ability to discover more about yourself, writing down your thoughts and your feelings and your experiences. Another big thing that a lot of people worry about or have questions about when it relates to solo traveling is how to foster or build connections while you're traveling. One way to do this is by finding activities geared to your interests. So if you're attending, let's say for example, a pottery or ceramic making class, and this is something that you do in your free time when you're at home, you are likely to find other people in that class or workshop who have a love for pottery or ceramic making as well. So you already have a commonality with this person, which can be a great conversation starter. Another thing is consider joining tours or classes. For example, cooking classes, food tours, walking tours, as they often have a lot of other solo travelers joining in on those activities as well too. So it's a great opportunity to meet people through those interactive gatherings. Consider staying at a reputable hostel or shared accommodation of some sort. They often include game nights, walking tours, group dinners, and even planning outings out in the city together. I know some people may be apprehensive about staying in a hostel because they're not huge fans of shared bedroom or like co-living spaces. A lot of hostels have private rooms. Like I personally stayed in a couple hostels and got my own private room because I wasn't big on sharing like the bedroom area or sharing an area where I'm going to be going to sleep. So a lot of hostels do have the option of booking a private room, and then you'll still have access to all those activities that I already mentioned, regardless if you're in a private room or not. Join groups on Facebook or travel forums, or download apps like Bumble BFF. There are so many different online platforms and spaces to connect with other solo travelers, but of course use caution when you are putting yourself out there on these different platforms online. Converse with locals when you're out and about eating by yourself or attending cafes, or if you're at a library or at the park. A good way to just try to connect with other people is asking for recommendations, and it can spark a whole in-depth conversation that, who knows, may lead to a new connection while you're there in that country. And this tip is for my introverted folks. Starting a conversation is out of your comfort zone. One thing that can go a long way is just looking approachable, smiling, and simply enjoying yourself. A lot of people gravitate towards positive energy. You won't have to be the one to initiate conversation. People will just be inquisitive and interested and curious about you and will initiate conversations with you. As a bonus tip, you guys, it's okay to be scared. Sometimes it's better to do things scared than to not do them at all. And once you do it, you'll build up confidence and you'll learn so much about yourself and your capabilities, your boundaries along the way. And I really believe it'll be worth it in the end. You got this, and I have all the faith in you. All right, y'all, those are my tips. I hope that these tips were informative and helpful. Please feel free to comment below some of your solo travel tips that you would like to share, or if you're someone who plans to embark on a solo trip in the future, let me know where you want to go and what tip from this video was most helpful for you. Let's chat about it. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already, so you can see more videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching. I'm wishing you safe and happy travels along your next adventure. Much love and light. God bless.